Today in Recipe for Friendship, people who are mentally, geographically, and culturally close to us. Today we are going to meet the Kyrgyz diaspora in Kazakhstan. My name is Alevtina Madyarova. Hello. What are we going to see in today's episode? As always, interesting customs, traditions, entertainment, and meetings. We will cook bishbarmak, which, believe me, will surprise you. Who would have thought that this is bishbarmak? I've never seen a Kyrgyz bishbarmak and never tried and never cooked it. Beautiful songs and significant rituals. Dancing, of course. We will explore a Kyrgyz suit. They differ in every area. In the north or in the south, they are different. For example, in the north, it is made from a piece of cloth, which is 25 to 30 meters long. And we will take part in an unusual competition. If we talk about the size of the Kyrgyz diaspora in Kazakhstan, it is necessary to refer to the results of the 2009 census. According to this census, there were no more than 25,000 Kyrgyz people in our country. But here's an interesting fact. Since the previous census, one that was in 1999, the number of Kyrgyz in Kazakhstan doubled. And that is the highest dynamics of growth in the country. Thus, it is difficult to say certainly how many Kyrgyz people live in Kazakhstan today. There are several versions of the origin of the Kyrgyz ethnonym. According to one of them, the root is found in the word Kyryk, which means 40. And the term formed from it is a self-made name for the nation, dating its history from 40 tribes which were united by Manas. There is another even more beautiful ancient legend about 40 girls, Kyrgyz, who were conceived by sea foam and gave birth to 40 tribes. Also, many historians argue that there's the word red hidden in the ethnonym Kyrgyz. There is no census on this point, but anyway, the people who came for the banks of the Yenisei River still call themselves Kyrgyz. Rich history, interesting traditions, and many ethnic groups were able to bring only drops of these treasures to our days. But it's not about Kyrgyz. Even living in the 21st century, they know and observe them, as it was in old times. For example, a rite which is called bishik toy, and which is carried out with a cradle of a baby. In the old days, the infant mortality rate was high because of harsh conditions of the nomadic lifestyle, and therefore there are a large number of rituals and superstitions related to children, their education, and the period of maturity. And it's not a secret that the birth of a new member of the family, especially a son, was and still is the greatest holiday. Cradle for a baby, bishik, traditionally prepared by the parents of the mother. Noble elder women are given the honor to carry out the ritual over the cradle. Bishik covered with oil, fumigated with the smoke of juniper, alchiks, charms of talus, the bone of a sheep, are put inside the cradle. The women shake bishik so that alchiks could fall out through kultuk, a special hole in the bottom. The women say wishes of good luck, health, and strength. The baby who is put in the cradle is swaddled in a special way. The women sing special songs, tapping his cradle with a whip, and that symbolizes strength and power. Since ancient times, it was believed that the girl who was born in the family, a child born for others, because she will go to the house of her husband. But the son is a child born for parents, because a son will look after them when they will get old. Because there is a saying that the birth of a daughter is the increasing of the number of a herd. The birth of a son is the increasing of the number of the army. There's another equally interesting rite which is called tushuk-su, which means cutting the rope. This tradition is familiar to many Turkic peoples and also to Kazakhstan. However, despite the general sense, the order of the ceremony in the Kyrgyz culture is much different from the Kazakh one. According to the tradition, this rite is for a baby who is confidently standing on his feet, but cannot walk yet. His feet need to be tied with a rope, and after the rite, when his feet will be released, it is expected that he will begin to walk. On the holiday, when guests are gathered in the house, meals are prepared and everyone is making good wishes. Every guest hopes The honor of cutting the rope will be given to him. And here's the fun. The one who will win the competition will cut the rope. In the most literal sense, guests and relatives run a race to the baby trying to be the first. The winner, who is out of breath but happily cuts the ceremonial rope, and, as it is believed, his speed and agility is given to the child during this ritual. Well, now is the time to talk about the holiday table. When we talk about the Kyrgyz kitchen, we need to realize that because of our proximity, geographic, mental, cultural, cuisine, Kyrgyz should be similar to the Kazakh one. My new friend, Aynura, came from the shores of Isikul, but she lived in Almaty for several years and now is working as a chef in a restaurant. Today we'll prepare the national dish of the Kyrgyz people, bishbarmak. Bishbarmak will be prepared according to Kyrgyz traditions. And what is the difference between Kazakh and Kyrgyz bishbarmak? The difference is that we have noodle dough, and Kazakh bishbarmak consists of square-shaped pieces of dough. Here's the first surprise: noodles in bishbarmak. It is very unusual for a man who got used to the Kazakh version of this dish. However, you will agree that the combination of dough and meat, which is familiar to absolutely all the peoples of the world, gives just an incredible spread of options. Now we'll prepare the dough and noodles for bishbarmak. We prepared flour, salt, eggs, and water for this. You add many eggs, do you? Yes, we prepared dough according to the number of guests. 6 to 8 people means 2 kilograms of flour, and we need more eggs. For example, 1.5 kilograms of flour, we need 4 eggs. And you just see it all, feel with your own hands how much of everything you need. Yes, I just see it and use my hands to measure. Aynura, who grew up in the countryside, learned to cook when she was a child, and now she can set a festive table of any meals. You should put your heart and soul in the process of cooking, and according to ancient tradition, we don't use a noodle cutter, we do it with our hands. Yes, we do it in an old way as Granny taught me. Who taught you to cook? My mom taught me to cook, and we have a big family. 6 people, 3 girls, 3 boys. I am the youngest daughter. We always had many guests in the house, and my mother never shirked house chores. She always taught us how to meet guests, and even now, when she turned 75, she still cooks and prepares everything by herself. It is worth noting that our chef specializes not only in national cuisine, and if we take into consideration many years of experience, we can assume that there are no blank spots on the culinary map left for Aynura. What is your favorite dish? I do love fish, and I can cook it in all different ways: fried, steamed, smoked. Is it because you come from Isikul? Maybe. Although today many people got used to modern lifestyle, and most people prefer to buy ready bread, rather to bake it themselves, and not everyone tries to learn how to cook. Still, there are families which teach their children how to run the house. Children have their own taste. For example, my eldest daughter, she loves the dough. She's in 8th grade. She can cook cutlets, dumplings, and lagma, lots of food. She's been learning cooking since she was 7. When I got married, my husband asked me, "When you will marry me, how many times per day will you cook for me?" During our conversation, I knew I finished cooking the dough. Now it should be given some time to rest. As far as I know, the secret of any dough is to give it some time to rest. Resting does some miracles with the dough, huh? Yes, you're absolutely right. Simple and important technological method, giving the dough time to rest, will make for you something difficult to achieve. If you decide to reach it with your own hands, the dough will become more elastic, smooth, and supple. Simple ingredients: flour, water, and a lot of eggs in the Kyrgyz version of the dough for bishbarmak. Now the dough has time to rest, lie for a half an hour, and we're putting it away. Meanwhile, we boil the meat, which was put into a pan in advance. Let me help you. Will we take it out? Well, the meat is ready, and today it is horse meat in Kazi. There's no better food for a nomad than good fresh boiled meat, especially horse meat. How do we cut it? I'll show you right now. We cut meat into very small pieces. Boiled meat is cut into very small pieces, almost into crumbs. And according to Kyrgyz traditions, Kyrgyz men usually cut the meat. They use authentic cutting techniques without a board by holding the meat in their hands. Everything is so different. I thought that bishbarmak should be the same everywhere. No doubt that meat is the main course for Kyrgyz people as well as for the Kazakhs. The nomadic life couldn't allow it to be in a different way. Herds are always near. Vegetables and spices are something extra which came to their diet much later. So number one is fresh boiled meat. For example, we slaughtered a lamb, marinate it, and rest it for one day, and we should take it out. The same way as it was before, when there was no another way to marinate food. But how was it before? Only with salt. Add salt and let it rest. Ainura is a real treasure because she knows all the old recipes that are not familiar to many modern people, and she doesn't just know them, she uses all of them. And we use the same brazier, prepared in advance, and you can say brazier, but we call it tash curd. We dig a hole in the ground, we do not need a cover, and a fire should be lit in advance. And then, when only the coals are left, it is possible to cook a whole lamb inside of it. And after it was marinated, it will take an hour or two to cook the lamb. Yes, only on a low fire. Also, we had a stove in the patio where we prepare the bread. Possibly you heard of it. Maybe in Uzbekistan, people cook flatbread in the streets, which is called tandoor. We have tandoors and other kinds of stoves. Finally, the meat is sliced. Our today's portion of bishbarmak is small and it wouldn't be enough for a family toy, but it's just enough to meet a small company of friends. Ready? We don't leave the strings in the meat. I can see that the master of cooking did it more elegantly. No, you did well. Your speed is good. Well, I think that there's no better practice than to cook for a family every day. Yes, that's right. Not only meat cut into small pieces in Kyrgyz bishbarmak, noodles also need to be cut after boiling. Who would have thought that this is bishbarmak? I've never seen a Kyrgyz bishbarmak and never tried and never ever cooked it. Tamanizdar damdi bolsin. We invite you to Kyrgyzstan. Our country is very beautiful. We have beautiful nature. Come to visit us. Kyrgyz people are very hospitable. The people are wonderful and the cuisine is delicious. Tamanizdar damdi bolsin. What do we need for fun? Well, of course, dancing. When I heard of the ancient Kyrgyz dance, I was preparing to be surprised again. But soon it became clear that this dance is familiar to all residents of Kazakhstan, because we are dancing nothing but kara jorga. Kazakhs will tell you that they were the first people to dance the kara jorga. Kyrgyz declare that this dance was created in their country. The same thing you can hear from the Altai peoples, Yakuts, and many other nomads, because kara jorga is for everyone.
Boş etek koyunu giybese kıldı şanlı gelebi. Kozgoluşsun delebi, kan tarattın denege. Haracı orgo bolboso toydu şanlı gelebi. Hey, haracı orgo bileniz, koy desi da koybonuz. Hoş yürüktür şahtığın, dalışmınday toylonuz. Geleleri bir sыңғайға, мындай шат бүгін қайда. Ойныңыздар ағайын, билеңіздер мұндайда. Биле жігіттер, жанып тұрған үміттер. Шықмайынша тоқтабо, маңдайыңдан тұнық тер. Биле қыздар бұралы, бірге сайран құралы. Жалындасын от сезім, жүрек тұрсын қуанып.
It was a busy day. However, there is still something that I want to focus on, the traditional Kyrgyz costume. How are nomadic clothes different? Comfort and practicality are in the first place because a man and a woman should have the opportunity to ride a horse in every single moment. Kyrgyz national dress is our face, the face of the Kyrgyz people. A special place was given to the headdress. It was forbidden to either throw it or put it on the floor nor to exchange it with anyone. Every piece of clothing shows the life of Kyrgyz people. For example, this piece of clothing is called ilichek. Female headdress indicates her status. A young girl wears a takiya, and during the preparation for marriage, the takiya was replaced by a shokulo. Adolescent girls or girls under 18 wore dopushki, or takiyas. Then they wore shokulo. Girls who were preparing for marriage wore a shokulo. A girl who got married after she moved to her husband took off the shokulo after 1 year of marriage. Well, after a woman turned 30, and because there were times when the age of 30 was considered the age of maturity, she wore an ilichek. They differ in every area. In the north or in the south, they are different. For example, in the north, it is made from a piece of cloth which is 25 to 30 meters long. An ilichek is 25 to 30 meters long, and it could be used in everyday life. Such a turban could be useful in a long journey because it could be used for clean diapers in the case of childbirth, and it could be useful for a child. Kyrgyz people often use natural wool for their clothes. It heats you in the winter and protects you from the sun in summer. And the main reason for a nomad, that like food, it is always near. It is amazing that people who live near each other have so many similarities and differences. Today we explored the Kyrgyz diaspora. My name is Alevtina Madyarova. See you soon.
Аққан су түзге талбайт, сай болбосо, қараңғы жарық болбойт, ай болбосо, чырақта пилик күйбөйт, май болбосо, қаланың көркі қайда гүл болбосо. Гүл açып қубат албайт, күн болбосо, ақындар ырдай албайт, дил болбосо, душманың жазған абы сүр болбосо, имарат көркө келбейт сыр болбосо. Omuzdan avaz çıkbayt, kıl bolboso, suyunu el kalabайт, ыр болбосо, ayaldın görkü qayda, çaç bolboso, dolurdun salmağı az, taş bolboso. Uzaka kabar jetpey, kat bolboso, jigittin atı çıkbayt, mart bolboso, ak yüzlü kızıl bolboyt, nur bolboso, sodanın işi jürgöyt, kul bolboso.